she's going to share her own story, so I don't want to steal too much of her thunder. But I just want to, the reason that I've asked this awesome woman to come and take the stage today is because I think her journey represents every woman's journey. I think her journey, for those of you who have read Joseph Campbell, is literally the hero's story. It is somebody who has faced a huge amount of adversity and very fortunately is public with it, because I think being public with our challenges is actually so much more important than being public with our wins. I'm so sick and tired of people photoshopping their lives, photoshopping their pictures, photoshopping their Facebook posts, and projecting this image that everything in their life and their world and their business is always working 100% perfectly, because they think that if they project that, that's going to attract more clients. And I don't understand how that can possibly be true, because I can't relate to that. That's not my world. My world does not work perfectly every single day. In fact, I'll be lucky if I get a 3-day run of it working perfectly. And I think it's so important for us to share our challenges, our financial challenges, our health challenges, our relationship challenges, our money challenges. I think it's important for us to share all of that and support each other through those journeys. Because the more we share, the more we support, the more we collaborate, the quicker we can help each other get through those challenges. Can we please have a big round of applause for Sally Wilkinson?
Tucked into my knickers. So I don't know how long I've got, but I've got 20 minutes. That's how long it's going to be. Is that all right?
That's fine. You've got 20 minutes.
I've got 21 and a half.
Okay, cool.
So I'll try not to swear too much, but thank you, Charlotte, for asking me to speak today. I shit myself when she asked. And I thought, I'll go on then. But actually, it wasn't going to come today because it's my daughter's GCSE. She's got 2 today. So when Char asked me, I was actually going to say no. My daughter Nancy says, you must tell them, Mum. She overheard me telling my husband Simon that I'm not going to do it because I want to be there in the morning when she goes to school and there when she gets home. That's why I didn't stay overnight. And she said, Mum, you've got to go. You've got to do it. She goes, besides, she goes, it's only French and drama, she said, and it's the exact type of event that I would want to go to. So, thank you, Nancy. I did mention at the beginning. I will calm down in a minute. Honestly, I was sat there oblivious. When's lunch? I'm freezing, but come on. So, just have a word with yourself, Sally. Char, where's she gone? My 20 minutes starts now, is that all right? Right then. So, just a very quick bit about what I do now. I run health and fitness retreats up where I live, up north, so on Morecambe Bay in the northwest. A few northerners in the room. Only what, 2? 3 of us! So that's how we got lost coming from Canary Wharf. But and I have an online community primarily on Facebook, and I also have a monthly membership. I'm a fitness instructor. I still teach spinning classes, and I'm a Nordic walking instructor. So that's pretty much what I do now. I like to think, or what I try and do in my community, it's lovely to see someone that I've never met before, so that's just ace, is to inspire people, mainly women, to motivate themselves to make their own change. And it's not just using fitness, it could be a sentence that somebody says, it's creating community. But I've known Char, I came to Char's world exactly 2 years this month. I first met Char after a very difficult period of my life. So just to take you back to the beginning, not too far back, but I've always been a bit of a grafter. I've always had, why have one job when you can have 2? And I've done that from when I left school basically. Didn't do A-levels, didn't do, university and all that stuff. So I worked mainly in retail management from the age of 21, went through loads of different management positions. I've always been in customer service, and I feel that's what I still do now really. It's all just a form of customer service, which I absolutely love to do. I hate bad customer service, I hate it, but because it costs nothing, it doesn't take any extra time. But and then I had Ben, my eldest son, he's 25 now, lives in London, and I was sick of being the manager, and I just wanted a job where you switch your computer off and went home for a bit. So I thought I'd go and work in the local call centre at BT, and they did fantastic maternity packages, so I had 2 more children, and it was brilliant. I was trying to convince the person who'd taken me on, why do you want to work here? But I couldn't quite say that, but I managed to convince her. And anyway, I loved it, I just loved it. You know, obviously working in a call centre has its issues, but it was good for me at the time. So that wasn't going to be in, so I just put an extra minute on the 20 minutes there. So what I did from there, I worked at BT, had Jo and Nancy. Nancy's like doing the GCSE, she's almost 16. But when I went back with Nancy, I'd had a year off pay, and I went back and I just knew I didn't want to do it anymore. So before I went back, I bought a house on a credit card with my brother, because he's a builder, because it was the property boom, and we did really well out of it. And honestly, we worked our arses off. I stripped it all to bits with my dad, he put it all back together. And you don't know muck until you've taken a Victorian ceiling down, let me tell you. But so we did that, did really well. We bought 2 more, sold them, did really well. And we thought, well, we've no pension, so we'll do it for a pension fund. So we bought 5 more and we let those out, and it was brilliant. Honestly, I thought should be on the telly on some property show. It was just absolutely great. But in the meantime, I left BT, and always because I want 2 jobs, I trained to be a fitness instructor. People assume I'm a personal trainer. I've no desire to work one-to-one PT-ing, so I've never done the personal training. I'm a level 2 fitness instructor. Worked at the gym as well as doing properties. And then it all started, we bought a hotel on Morecambe Seafront, beautiful old building. Thought we'd go up a level and be proper property developers rather than just doing little properties. And it was literally going to pay our mortgages off. We had these valuers around, they said it's going to be amazing. And it was, we did it to a high level, the bank loaned us the money. And just as we were about to finish, the next door came up for sale. So what we did, we bought that as well, just thought we would. So we're heavily in debt to the bank, but they were happy to loan us the money. But then literally within 7 minutes of signing, the recession hit. And it was just started the most 7 painful years of stress, worry, trauma, fear, so many emotions, so many negative emotions. I forgot how to have happy emotions in my life, and I do still struggle with that. But obviously I'll break it down very quickly, because I'm probably at about 15 minutes now. But it's the most stressful thing about it is the bloody time, I tell you, but I like to be in time and stress. I'll still be here tonight at 5 o'clock. But, so what
Why did I ask you?
I know! It's just a Facebook Live from a condiment cupboard. It's all Oh, she's interrupting me now. I'm still on 15 minutes. Still on. So, hey Curtis, I bet you never thought you'd see me again, did you? He's the one who did me a Del Abs video in Marrakesh. I don't think he's quite got over it. He said action and everything. I was like, woo! So anyway, I can't believe I'm going fast talking about what's about to happen. But so yeah, what happened? I've forgotten what happened to me. Sally, breathe. Right then, let's have a look. So yeah, where was that? The properties, and then the recession hit. And then the bank decided no longer to loan us the money to do the renovations. So we were left high and dry, and we had to get private investors, which we managed to get for, paid them an amazing interest rate. But then the bank decided to pull the plug on all the other finance, left us completely high and dry. It was just awful. So we didn't know what to do, nobody else wanted to invest, you know what the property like was, you know, going back when the recession hit. And the worry that started, the fear, I started to fall into a depression which was getting deeper and deeper. I started drinking a lot more than social drinking. I was probably starting to drink probably a bottle and a half of Prosecco 5-6 nights a week. And bearing in mind, this time I was still teaching at the gym, doing my spinning classes. But one of the investors it was looking like we were going to be repossessed. They did repossess the properties, the bank, sold them on. How it happens, God only knows, it should be illegal. They sell it on to a company who then sell it on within a week, make 120 grand profit, and then we're left still owing the bank £250,000. And it's all when you go through trauma like that, I think whether it's health, wealth or relationships, if you're having a trauma, it's all your life becomes about. You forget how it is to live normally, and you see other people in the street and assume that they're just having a normal life, talking about what's for tea, and you're just like, oh my God, have you been paid? What we're going to do? We're going to raise the mortgage. But what became worse than that is one of the investors turned out to be the minion of an Irish gangster, and I'm not joking, honestly, it was just horrific. I blame my brother really, because he got him in. He was just a client of the client, because they got such a good interest rate. But he literally wanted his 50 grand back, and he knew we were going to be getting made bankrupt, and he would have gone. And the fear that creates was just awful. It was just shocking. And I remember he used to send his man to the house, and he knew the children's names. He made it quite clear that he doesn't deal with solicitors, just breaking bones. And it was just shocking. So we took the decision, even though we knew bankruptcy was coming, the only 3 properties that we had left with equity in, I'm afraid it's up north, not down here. In 10 years, the property market had not budged. So we managed to get 50 grand out, which was just the deposit, sold the properties on the cheap and paid him off. We knew it was wrong, but when you're fearing for your life, you couldn't really give a shit, to be honest, what happened to you. And then very soon afterwards, we were forced into bankruptcy. And the shame, the guilt, lost all our savings, the only reason we didn't lose a house because it was in negative equity, lost my parents' stuff, my brother's stuff, pension funds, everything was gone. And the thing is, I've always been such a hard worker, and I felt really unjust. I really felt like I'd been shat on, really. Shit, whatever. I don't know if you say shat, you know.
Shit up.
You do. I just felt it was just, and I just felt so unfair. But my drinking was getting heavier, and then I just took myself to bed. I lived in bed for 3 months probably, but I still got up to do my spinning classes, you know. I still got up to do my spinning classes, but I was still, and in this time, I've built my little retreat business as well. I just happened to do that on the side with all this going on, so I had 3 jobs. And I did, because in the time I used to work for Jason Vale as well as a fitness instructor, so I got the idea of doing retreats at home, which are obviously, you know, just 3-day weekends. And so I was still doing all that, but it was becoming more and more difficult. And I used to do these live free challenges on the Facebook group, and Simon used to have to come and get me out of bed and say, Sally, you've got to do your challenge, little 10 minutes. So I'd get dressed, go on and go, hi, I'm Sally, you know, come on, and all that lot. And then I'd just get back into bed, you know, and go back to sleep. And then I remember a couple of things happened. Nancy used to get herself up, 7:30 in the morning, she'd leave. And she was 11 at the time, and I remember she used to come and say, Mummy, can you put my hair up? And I'd swing my legs out of bed, put her hair up, and she'd go. And that was it. And I just thought, what a shit parent. But I just couldn't seem to help myself. I just felt the amount of times I started thinking about ending my life, because I just couldn't cope anymore. I just couldn't see a way out of the fear and the letters and the court cases. And the final straw was one morning, well, it wasn't, it was afternoon. I got up, it was about 2 o'clock, went down to the kitchen, my dressing gown, like this, and there was crumbs on the worktop. And I'll never forget, I thought, oh God, Nancy's left a mess, you know, irritated. And I got the cloth off the sink, and it was all soggy. You know, a soggy cloth. And I think, I've been through all that shit, and the thing that really says enough is enough is a soggy bloody cloth. I can't even cope to wring it out. So I just chucked it in the sink and went to bed with a loaf of toast and butter. And then I just had to make a decision at that point. Oh, Cara, can you give us a wink? She does this and that. I've just seen you there. Amazing wink. But I just went to bed and I just thought, right, I've got a choice now. I either carry on doing this or take action and do something else. Now, I knew I was depressed. I knew I was drinking. I was drinking to mask. And I just thought, right, I don't want antidepressants because I did those 20 years ago. So I read a book called Operation Ironman by George Mahood, who did an Ironman 4 months after he was in a hospital bed with a tumour on his back. I thought, well, my tumour's depression, so I'm going to do an Ironman. And I looked, and 4 months later, I was doing Bolton Ironman, just for a laugh, honestly, as you do. But it was ridiculous, really. But I needed something that was going to force me out of bed, something that was going to force change. I know I'm not putting down people who do 10Ks and stuff, because I couldn't struggle to run for the bus this morning, but I needed something that felt impossible, and I needed to train to believe that I could finish, but I wanted to get to that start line. So I did, and in 4 months I was stood on the start line, and I went and finished it. I can't believe it, honestly, but Ironman is very specific. The people who don't know what an Ironman is, just a little bragging moment here, if you don't mind. We don't do it very often as women, do we? But it's a 2.5 mile swim, 112 miles on the bike, and then a full 26.2 marathon. So yes, but it was just so. The reason I was doing it was to just deal with all the crap that had gone on. It wasn't just, I want to do an Ironman, I want to be fit. I really wanted to say goodbye to all the crap, and I can't really not talk about it now without giving you a little couple of anecdotes. So just one thing, how it takes to train for it, but when you're doing it, I remember the cycle ride, 2 massive laps of Bolton, 2 50-mile loops. The first one was incredible. You're literally going round on your bike. It was like being in the Tour de France, thousands of people cheering you on. But because I was last, when we did the second loop, I was like out my own. I'm thinking, this is awful, all the people have gone to watch the run. I remember seeing, there was an odd few stragglers. I remember seeing somebody on a bike, I think, oh my God, there's somebody on a bike, brilliant. So I caught up to them, it was just a lady out with a bike basket on them. You're just waving, you might as well be waving. I reckon it's about 8 minutes if you don't mind. They always start waving at me. Sorry, Shah, I'll be as quick as I can.
You're good.
Right. Oh, I've had it, that's all right. Don't say that to me, I'll be 24 minutes. So I'm more than halfway through, that's all you need to know. But yes, and then I was going up Hunter's Hill the second time. Massive steep gradient hill. The first time I did it, it was just people were running by the side of me, going, come on, come on. I was pedalling away. With every pedal, I just thought, I'm not getting off this bike. There was men in Lycra, proper Ironmen, who were pushing the bikes. Not me. I was still on mine. But the second time I did it, it was empty. And I'll never forget, approaching the top of the hill, there was this little family, a man and a woman, and about an 8-year-old boy with a giant sombrero on, going, come on. I was going, you've no idea how much that means, thank you. And it was just incredible. And it's all this resilience that Ruth was talking about. And I didn't even realise it was a thing, really. It's just something I do. And too much information, but I started a period the day before the Ironman. It's not something you need when you're doing 17 hours, 12 minutes of exercise. And so the etiquette when you're doing an Ironman is just to wee in your shorts on the bike. That's what people do. Fine, but I needed to go to the loo, and I will never ever forget this as long as I live. And I was going on my own on my little Sunday ride, and I saw this post box, wasn't it? It was a portaloo, that's the word I meant, bloody post box. I pissed in the post box. Sorry. I would have thought it was a man, but anyway. Poor Curtis, bless him, he was a video again. And so anyway, there was this portaloo, and I was absolutely knackered. But with Ironman, you've only got 10.5 hours to do the first 2 disciplines, the cycle and the swim. If you don't do that in 10.5 hours, they don't even let you do the run, and I was cutting it fine. But anyway, I saw this portaloo, I thought, I've got to go. And so I opened it up, I was nearly sick. It was literally full, there was pee all over the seats, no loo roll, and it stank. My legs were killing. There's no way I was hovering over anything. So I sat in piss. Even though I was dying to get to where I needed to be, for 8 minutes. 8 minutes I sat there, and I just started crying, thinking, what are you doing, Sally? What are you doing? You were in bed 4 months ago, and now you're sat in a plane in Bolton in somebody else's pee, doing Ironman. I thought, what on earth's happening? And I'm not kidding you, I came out of that toilet, come on! I just felt bionic, absolutely bionic. And I got to the cut-off with literally 4 minutes to spare, and they pushed me out, and so I did the run. It wasn't really a run, it's called the Ironman Shuffle. But just one more little thing about it, I was the last person allowed to finish with about 3 miles to go. Anybody that was behind me, they took off the course. The sweepers on the bike told me that they're going to let you finish. Oh my God, I was crying. This is what I've dreamed of. I was thinking, all through my training, there's a man on the mic who says, Sally Wilkinson, you are an Ironman. And all the crowds, I'm not kidding you, I came like this, into Bolton town centre. He'd gone home. It's not even funny. It isn't. He had gone home. The barriers were empty. It was just, I couldn't believe it. And I shuffled over the line. So I get really emotional. And the family were there. And there was just a couple of people clapping. And I will never forget this woman. Sorry. Thank you. And it just really means so much to me. I'll never forget this woman, this volunteer, came up to me with a big smile on her face. I shouldn't have got a medal because I was 17 minutes from the cut-off, so I'm classed as I did not finish in the literature. I didn't finish the Ironman according to them, but I know I went under the line. And this woman came up to me and she put a medal over my head and she says, you are the reason I volunteer. You are worth every inch of that medal. So just really obviously I did the Ironman, it really worked a treat. Honestly, it lifted me out of the depression enough to start doing my business, what I'm doing now. And that takes me to when I first met Shah. I don't know where she's gone. Oh, here she is. So what I did, I knew I just didn't want to stay. I didn't ever want to be in that position again. And I got the bloody big mortgage to pay off. So what I did, I started following Shah. I don't quite know how. She was getting on my nerves in the inbox. I was going to follow her. And I thought, oh, but I just knew there was something that made me stay. And I went to this one-day boot camp, because that was in May 2 years ago at the Cavendish. Dead posh, honestly, I loved it. And I went and I signed up for the 2-day boot camp. And people who say they can't come, literally, we couldn't afford the £300 train tickets, me and my husband. So we got the £10 megabus from Lancaster University, a 36-hour round trip without sleep. And at 4 a.m, a student was sick on my leg. So literally, I went to that boot camp. And then Shah said this, she's doing this 2-day boot camp. It was £1,500. I thought, well, I don't have any money. But it sounds really good. It's just what I need. I just felt inspired. And I just knew it was something I needed to do. So I felt really ashamed that I asked my dad if he'd put it on his credit card. We'd just lost all his money. But he did, because, and it was just incredible. I went to that boot camp. And I felt so small, so rubbish, so northern, and everybody's there with all the Big Macs and stuff. Not Big Macs, not Big Macs. And I was there with my iPad mini, not having a clue what a sales funnel or a lead magnet. I thought a plugin was something you got sent through the post, honestly. But the thing is, on the second day, Shah, I'll never forget this. So, dearie me, I've probably got 4 minutes left, so just
don't make me start to cry.
So what happened was, on the second day, I was doing a live challenge on the Facebook group, and that morning I'd had to do day 1 of a 30-day challenge at the Premier Inn, and I did it in the corridor, I did it live, and then you got us all looking at each other's pages, and somebody saw mine, and they went, you've had 12,000 views on that video. I said, yeah, that's normal for me. Not having a clue what everybody else does. And anyway, Shah got a wind of it, and I'll never forget, he came up in front of me, and she stood like that, like Charlie's Angels, like that. And she just said, 12,000 views on a video, and you're not making money off Facebook? Because I had no idea that you could. I went, no, and she just said, that has got to change. That is going to change. And it was that somebody, obviously especially like Shah, had that belief, and somebody she didn't really know, because of what she saw. It just was, I think it was like opening the gate for me to think, right, come on. A bit like coming out of the toilet after sucking pee all the time. So
I'm not sure whether to take this.
So I went on, and I literally went home from that. I set up a Facebook group, a closed group, which I didn't know really existed. I did that, which I've now got 5,000 members in. I've set up a private membership. And so that's where I'm at now. But I just want to finish just the last 3.5 minutes, please, just by what I've learned from this. Jojo talked about it before. Is the biggest lesson I've had, and obviously it's been awful and the stuff that I've learned, but the biggest lesson I have learned is gratitude. Gratitude all day long. I know law of attraction that you said before. I started reading The Secret when I was really depressed. Somebody recommended it and it was a game changer for me. Some stuff would take a leave, but gratitude and the law of attraction, I just started being more positive, even though I felt crap. And it was just, I remember when the bailiffs came to the door and I was shouting through the letterbox. I was just about to think of ending my life, and I was in the bath, and the man just said, "Well, I'm sorry, love, but you're in arrears, can you pay now, please?" And so having the gratitude for the woman who came once, when she came with the big burly bailiff, and she came, I was titivating my Christmas wreath that I'd made on the front door. I couldn't believe it. And she came down, my heart sank, and I still have a fear about opening the front door when the phone rings, if it's a number I don't know, the fear that I have. And she just walked down the drive and she just said, "You don't have to let me in." And I just thought, and that woman supporting woman thing, which is really apt for today, and the gratitude. And 2 years ago, I walked past the hotel, and there was a lady, we didn't own it anymore, obviously, and the lady, because we'd been forced into bankruptcy, and the lady was in the window putting the Christmas tree up, and I could see my Farrow Ball paint, my fancy kitchen that I'd done. And I just automatically thought, "Oh God, it's shit, it's crap, if only, what if this, what if that, isn't it awful?" And I thought, wind your neck in, love, and I thought, what are the good things, the 8 years I've had with my dad, who's really poorly now. Sorry, but the 8 years of the happy memories, and the barrel laughs I had with him and my brother, and the people who I've met. I would not be doing this business. I wouldn't have met the people I've met. I've got to meet today, Sam. Lovely, I wouldn't have done any of that if it hadn't all gone wrong. So there's always good in something, and it's just horrifying. I won't be stood on this stage. But we spend too much time beating ourselves up, thinking we're not good enough, comparing ourselves to other people, comparing our chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 22. I could have done that with Shaw in the beginning and thought, sod it, I nearly did, and thought, I'm never going to be like that, I'm never going to do that. But you keep going. How many times, the amount of times I used to wake up in the morning and literally I'd wake up and go, oh God, I feel shit, and I've got this to do today and that to do today. Oh, and I get out of bed, it's pissing it down. I'd walk past the mirror, fat bitch, and then I'd go to the toilet, do my teeth, I'd go, God, you're looking old. And literally, you do it, and literally, I'm quite stood here now thinking, I wish I'd worn tights because I've got fat knees now, and I've got a menopausal belly. But, are you going to think any less of me because my knees have dropped a bit? But why do we do it to ourselves and compare ourselves to others? And to finish on, did you hear that?
Oh, yeah! Edging closer to the stage, you did
the best example I can give is watching my dog chase birds. Luther is a big German Shepherd Collie Cross, and I was having a really bad day last year, because I do still get bad days, I do still, I really do, but they're not as often as they were. And I took him down to the shore, and he was chasing these birds, chasing them, his tail going 10 to the dozen, and he was absolutely living in the moment. He wasn't worried about whether his arse looked big, or he wasn't worried about whether he'd upset Bob the Labrador last week and was still festering. He was just living in the moment, being a dog. But the better thing than that is that he really believed he could catch these birds. He thought he could, and I knew he didn't have a cat and else chance, but he believed with all his fur that he was going to catch them. And it was just amazing to see. And so what I just want to leave to finish with, I often hear people say, "Oh, I was going to do this, I was going to do that book course, I was going to do this, going to do that fitness class, but life gets in the way." Have you heard that saying, life gets in the way? This is your life. You don't get in the way like it's some inconvenience. This is your life right now. Me here on this stage is my life. Not this morning when I was getting lost, bloody Canary Wharf. Not tomorrow. This isn't all you here. Just 5 seconds. This is your life right now, and it's happening. And time will pass regardless, whether you like it or not. You don't know how much time you have left or you have left. But it is our time. Let's not waste it worrying about what other people think. Can you imagine if we lived like Luther, thinking we can chase those birds, living a life beyond belief? Can you imagine the possibilities? So the very final sentence is I just want to, we are given the gift of time, and just in the words of my very dear friend Shelley, go be amazing. Thank you. One more time.
Well, that was a little bit emotional. Wow, so thank you so much.